प्रतिबोधितां भगवतां नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन कृतितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्ततां भगवद्गीते भगवद्वेषिणी.
Yes. Hamsa is like the space there.
Hamsa is like the space limited by an upadhi. Shankara further illustrates how the jiva is said to be part of Paramatma with another example. Space enclosed by a pot or a room, etc., is looked upon as a part of total space from the standpoint of the object by which it is circumscribed, its upadhi. In reality, the space is never divided. When the space is seen in its own right, and when from that standpoint the upadhi is gone, the total all-pervasive space is reached in terms of understanding. Having reached that vision of space, one does not return to seeing it as circumscribed.
Yeah, very, what do you call? Very close example. In Shastra also they say Akasa is the closest example to Atma. Like Akasa cannot be, even though every one of us can understand, even though Akasa seems to be divided between this room and that room, there is only one space. The division is only instrumental, like it is available, it is useful, and it is prayojanam. There is prayojanam is there. Okay, one room and another room and all. But fact is, space is the reality. Everything else is only sort of sub-reality. The division is only a sub-reality, whereas reality is space. The same way, Atma is the reality. Everything else, the other division is transactional. It is not. This level of reality is reduced. Since that is why it's called Mithya. Mithya meaning Satyam is reality. Mithya is depending on Satyam. Of course, space, the other divisions are all depending on space, but in terms of reality, the space reality is more compared to the room space, pot space, and all that. Even though we call it pot space and all that, it is only upachara. Like for convenience we use it, but the space is the same. Space is not circumscribed by the pot and all. We all know that. The same way we have to understand this Atma is not circumscribed by the body and the mind. Body and mind, okay, that is where we are transacting. For us to transact, it is available for transaction. But it is, if you really scrutinize the whole thing, body itself is not a, which I have sent in one of the articles. There is no body. It's just because the sense of touch runs all over the body, we think that body is a unitary entity. No. So if you really, sense of touch, like even our sense of eyes goes, till the time the eyes can see, it is sense of, there is sight. Till the time the nose can smell, till the distance the nose can smell, then the whole thing is nose consciousness. Like that. The same way, sense of touch is just all over the body. We are not able to touch the other body. So we think that okay, the body alone is the eye. Body is my space and all that. It is not. It is because of the sense of touch goes around the whole skin, right from foot to head. We think that this is the body. Actually, the body is not a reality. It's only just covered by one of the panchabhutas, that is sense of touch. That's all. So it gives a feeling that the body is one entity. It is not so. In the same way, mind also. Mind also, there is no mind. If you really analyze, there is no mind. As I have already, in one of the articles I have explained, mind is just a vritti. When the vritti comes, there is a mind. When you go to sleep, there is no mind. When the dream, it's a different mind totally. Don't know how it operates also. So the mind which you are talking about as an entity also doesn't exist. Mind is just a sense of a bundle of memories and all that. So it's all a time, psychological situation, that's all. No reality, either to the mind or body. Then what is the reality? Then we can say, then we will know the reality is like space. The reality is the Atma. Circumscribed by the body and mind. So we think that the body and mind is, because since we don't know Atma, we think body and mind is my reality. So once we analyze all these things, Atma, the being, becomes the only reality. Everything else is circumscribed by body and mind to available for transaction. So that is what the sense basically is Jiva is to be part of Paramatma is just only sort of circumscribed. Idea is that one Jiva, another Jiva, like one part, another part, another part, and Akasa is the Paramatma. Right?
Yes.
That is how you have to, that is the example here. Yeah.
Similarly, having reached that limitless self in terms of understanding, it is proper to say that one does not return from there in the sense that one does not go back to seeing it as limited. Even though such a person has gained the knowledge, since the upadhi remains, we still call him a jiva, but a liberated one, even mukta. He knows that the jiva, in fact, all jivas are in him, but he is not the jiva. He knows that he is the self of all, and at the same time free from everything. Thus, he is liberated by living a jivan mukta. When his prarabdha karma is exhausted and the body falls, and there is no further assumption of a body with which he might return, only an entity that is limited can form an association with another object. Being within the same order of reality, they can come together. That association has certain longevity, upon the expiry of which dissociation occurs. But here it is different. By ignorance, a setup is established wherein there are two different orders of reality. One is Satya, the other Mithya. The Jiva is a notion entirely centered on the Paramatma. It has no independent existence. If the pot realizes it is clay, even if it is destroyed, it will not reappear in another form. If, however, it passes away with the notion that it is a pot, it will come back again in some other form as a saucer, a cup, jar, and so on. In between, it may have some pleasant experiences in some other loka, but eventually it will come back. Because the loka and the notion of being a pot are all within the same order of reality, the principle of association and dissociation applies. But here, two orders of reality are involved.
So here also, the same example. Suppose the pot space understands that I am space. Thereafter, it will never claim as pot space. And when the pot breaks also, the space does not get affected. Because I am space, I have always been space. There is nothing called pot space. You called it pot space for your own convenience.
Okay.
I am always space. So that way also, clay, claiming that I am always clay, not a pot, that is one example. The other example is, I am space, not pot space. So when the pot breaks or pot doesn't break or pot becomes bigger, it doesn't make a difference to me. I am space. In the same way, Atma is the reality. And as long as it is circumscribed by this body mind, we say that okay, it is available for transaction, speaking, communicating with each other. But the body goes, when the mind goes also, you don't really bother because you understood. You are at the level of reality of Atma, the being. So, okay, like even the pot breaks and pot comes and goes, the same way you will understand that I am the reality, the body and the mind comes and goes. And till the time you understand that Atma is my reality. Once Atma is the reality, there is no one to claim. When this body leaves, there is no one to claim to take another body. Because I always know that I am Atma. Why I need a body? So as of now, we assume that body is Atma. Whereas once you understand Atma is, body comes and goes, then there is no one, there is no taker for taking another birth. That is the way Mukti is explained.
Actually, Swamiji, this entire thing we learnt about sun, moon, and what we have said now up to now, there is one beautiful verse in Surya Namaskar. Atanashva pratanashva udvamada masandama aditye chandravarnanam. In that, and it ends with prana ramam mana anandam shanti samridvam amritam iti prachi nayogyopa asva putuvyantariksham jyotisho vantara dishaha agnir vayura dityas chandrama nakshatrani दिव्या आपौषधयः सुमृडीका सरस्वती माँ देव्योम संदृशी छाया स्वर्चलाम्बा समेत श्री सूर्यनारायण स्वामिने नमः ओम नमो नारायणाय. In that it starts with Aditya Chandravarnanam and our what is this? This first one we say, Satyam Nanamanantam Brahma Prana Ramam.
That is part of the Taittiriya Upanishad. Even this every day even this Rudra chanting comes, no? What is that? Agnirme Vayu Srita Vayu. Like that. What is that?
Hridaye Hridayam Vayi Aham Amrite
Amritamani. Aham Amrite Amritam Brahmani is the Atma. Okay, Vayurme Prane Sritaha Pranam Hride Hridayam Mayi Aham Amrite Amritam Brahmani Suryo Me Chakshushu Sritaha Chakshur Hride Hridayam Mayi Aham Amrite Amritam Brahmani Chandram also, everything we transact with finally gets reduced to Hridaye Atmani Tishtati. Whole Atma is the reality. In it, all this Surya, Chandra, Prana, Vayu, Atma, Indra, Prajapati, Parjanya, the whole life is reduced to Atma Hridayam Mayi. Hridayam Mayi Aham Amrute, Aham Amrutam, meaning I don't have any sort of body, mind and all that. I don't have the characteristics of Mrutam. Mrutam meaning coming and going. So Mrutam means that comes in bound by time and space, coming and going. So it doesn't. Finally, everything gets reduced to Aham Amrute Amrutam Brahmani. So Aham and Brahma are equal. So every one of those sentences in that Lagunayasam for Rudra is Mahavakya. Swamiji used to say it's all Mahavakya. Each one of them, right from beginning. Agnirme Vachisritaha Vakade Hridayam Mayi Amrite Amrutam Brahmani. From that beginning till the time Atma Me Manasisritaha Manohagade Hridayam Mayi Amrite, including Atma. Atma meaning the body mind sense. As of now, we assume that body mind sense as Atma, no? That also gets reduced to only Brahman. So Atma cha Brahma. So every one of those prayers as a part of the Lagunyasam, even before starting the Rudram, you commit yourself saying that everything is nothing but Atma and Brahman. Every one of the sentences, every day before Rudram, we say that Lagunyasam. Supposed to be Lagunyasam, easy, but so much meaning is there in that. So if you understand that, then since you start that, suppose we are supposed to see, the problem is all these when they postulated, when they wrote, the medium of communication was Sanskrit. Like you and I talk in English or Tamil, they were talking. So for them, it was all every day they started like that. What is that? What is that? First we start with. No. First, before Lagunyasam, what we start with? First thing is, okay, see the problem. Before that, it is all Atatmo, Atato.
Atato Rudrashchana Abhisheka Vidam.
No. I am something like that. I am Atma, something like that comes. That is, you start that whole Lagunyasam with that Atatmanam Shivatmanam Sri Rupam Dhyaye. This is how we start. This whole Lagunyasam starts like Atatmanam Shivatmanam Sri Rudra Rupam Dhyaye. So Ata Atmanam, mind. Shivatmanam, Ishvara. Rudra Rupam, world. Jiva Jagat Ishvara. Now I am going to chant. Atatmanam Shivatmanam Sri Rudra Rupam Dhyaye. Like that we start. So, the beginning of the day, you say that Jiva Jagat Ishvara is like this. Then you explain how is Shiva. Then you explain how is Atma. And then you explain, and before that you go to Rudram, you say that Agnirmaya Me Vayus Vachisritaha, where you equate the individual and reduce it to the Brahman. So the whole thing is already done. Then you say, okay, the whole Rudram is nothing but the whole world. Right? How is the forest? How is there in the city? How is the Ratakara? How is all that? So, in those days, what was the world? That is described in detail and say everything is Namaha. Meaning everything is only the same Brahman only. There is no second. Everything is including the Vill, Ambu, Kudrakara. The whole, if you look at Ratha, is something like very simple. The whole Rudra is explaining the world as it is. In that day, in the eyes of the Rishi who is sitting in the forest. So he has told. And they have collected and put it as Sri Rudra. So, Atatmanam, Shivatmanam, Sri Rudra Rupam Dhyaye, when you say, the whole thing gets reduced. The individual, the world and Ishvara are nothing but Aham Brahma. Tatmanam Shivatmanam Shri Rudra Rupam Dhyayet Sollidu, then Agdirme Vachishritaha Vakuder Mayam Amrutem Brahmani. This we say. And even the individual also we say, no? What is that? Like this in my Tishtatu, like Tishtatu we say. This is every part of the body, some Devata is sitting. And Devata is nothing but representing a particular element. So the whole world is in your body. And in your Atma, everything is there. So the identity is already there in the mantras. And if the person who chants knows all these things intimately, he will not have any doubt about life. He will, after finishing the Rudra Japam, Tomam, Abhishekam and all, when he goes out into the world, he knows very well what is that world is. This Upacharam, that's all. Okay, I have to go out in the world and do a certain thing, 1, 2, 3, 4. Come back at the end of the day, have a nice sleep. Next day morning, Atatmanam, Shivatmanam, Shri Rudra Rupam Dhyayet. So he doesn't have any problem in understanding the whole thing as one unitary being, Atma, Shivatma, Brahman, whatever you call it. So, but the problem is today it all becomes very chant. Chant means worship. What to chant we get lost in the world. There is no connection with this understanding. There is no understanding here. The only chant is there. And we tell the children, you understand and study, don't mug up. But all of us elders are doing the same thing. We just mug up, do some chant and go away. We don't understand. We don't even make an effort to understand. Nobody tells us also. So that is a problem. See, if we understand all these things, every part of that is where our culture, Swami always to say, the culture has all it's basically a spiritual culture. It is not a religious culture. Religious culture is Arvachinam. What has come in the last 500, 600 years. Before that, Shankara's time was only Prachinam. There everyone was talking in Sanskrit. So for them life is Sanskrit. And meaning understanding. Sanskrit meaning what? Understanding. Sanskrit is only a language. But understanding was there. Whatever today in Tamil or in English, whatever I say, I understand and say. I don't have to think and understand. As I say, I understand, right? Because there's so much. I think in English. Or I think in Tamil. So, my thought, my speech is my understanding. That is how we have to, once we live that way, then everything becomes saralam. Anyway, we have to get back. There is no choice because this is the reality. We can say that no, the times have changed and all that, but reality has not changed. No, reality is the same. Even if you say, see a 450 billion years old star, that is gone. Even though it is science, advanced science and all that, but that is not gone. That is history. But the reality is the same. It does not change because it cannot change. Reality is changeless. Whereas everything else is changing. Changing, you have to keep learning. You cannot, because changing what is yesterday's true is not true today. You have to change, you have to learn, you have to remember, you have to apply technology, whatever you call it. Whereas this reality, you don't have to remember. This is you. But once you have to understand, you have to get to that bottom of it, see all the muck that is going around, and go to the bottom and understand. Then once you get rooted in this, then everything else you can meaningfully explain what this changing life is all about. From the changeless only, the changing can be explained. Yeah, that is how it is, yeah.
Only an entity, para.
If the part realizes it is clay.
No, similarly having reached a next para.
How can the limitless Paramatma have parts?
Adukku munnadi, if the pot realizes it is clay, adukku mundina para.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Maybe I turned the page by mistake. Only an entity that is limited can form association with another object. Being within the same order of reality, they can come together. That association has certain longevity upon the expiry of which dissociation occurs. But here it is different. By ignorance, a setup is established wherein there are two different orders of reality. One is Satya, the other Mithya. The Jiva is a notion entirely centered on the Paramatma. It has no independent existence. If the pot realizes it is clay, even if it is destroyed, it will not reappear in another form. If, however, it passes away with the notion that it is a pot, it will come back again in some other form. It will come back again in some other form as a saucer, a cup, jar, and so on. In between, it may have some pleasant experience in some other loka, but eventually it will come back. Because the loka and the notion of being a pot are all within the same order of reality, the principle of association and dissociation applies. But here, two orders of reality are involved. The jiva who is false, Mithya, recognizes the fact that he is essentially the reality of everything. From this recognition, he cannot return because ignorance can only go, it cannot come back. Therefore, it is proper to say that those who know the reality of the self do not come back, na nivartante. How can the limitless Paramatma have parts? If so, it would be subject to disintegration.
It will also be subject to disintegration.
It would also be. How can the limitless Paramatma have parts? If so, it would also be subject to disintegration. Here, Shankara raises another question. How can the partless Atma have a given part like an agent or an experience? If it does, then it will disintegrate because anything that has parts is subject to destruction. Therefore, we cannot say that Paramatma has parts, nor can we say that the partless Atma can become a given Jiva, an agent Karta, an experiencer Bhokta. How then are we to understand the use of the word Amsa part here? Amsa part here.
Amsa means part. So, how can a
Amsa.
partless Paramatma can have an Amsa as a part? It's not possible. It isn't illogical. So, he is explaining that, yeah.
This is not a problem because created by avidya, a part is apparently seen.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
This was shown in detail also in the 13th chapter. It is only through ignorance that you can say that Atma is limited. Because of the Upadhi, every Karta is part of Bhagavan. Once you recognize Bhagavan as Atma, the sense of agency and sense of enjoyship go, and thus having reached the abode of Bhagavan, you do not return. How do they not come back after having gone to Bhagavan? They are not separate from him at any time and are only seemingly a part of him until they realize this. A timeless part seems to be time bound for the time being. Once they realize I am Brahman, there is no Amsa. There is only one Vastu. When ignorance is gone, the product is also gone. For the one who is liberated, there is no real Amsatva because he knows he is the whole. As long as the prarabdha karma is being exhausted, the body-mind sense complex seemingly enclosed Brahman. When that falls away, there is only Brahman. Even before it falls away, once you understand that it is only an upadhi, there is only Brahman.
So there, see, in the 13th chapter, he started like that, no? Idam shariram kaunteya. So like that, because basically the idam, when you say idam, it cannot be I. You start like, you say that it is idam, and you say it's I. How can it is contradictory? That's why he says idam shariram. Once you say, it is not you. Body, mind is not you, because you are able to see. What you see cannot be you. You see. So how can you see yourself? You cannot see your own eyes cannot see eyes.
Yes.
Ears cannot see ears or hear ears. Like that. So that example, idam shariram kaunteya dehamitya vidiyate, immediately rejects, saying that the kshetrajna is witness, and kshetra is including your body, mind, everything is only a kshetra. So that is why it cannot be. You assume that the kshetra is you, that is why the body part and all comes. Whereas there is no body or part and all for kshetrajna. There is one being. So in that situation, there is no amsa possible. When there is no avayava, where is the question of amsa possible? Amsa is possible only when the amsa means part. Part is possible if only a part, an entity with parts. Whereas you, the being, kshetrajna, etc., is just the being. Which you have been consistently telling right from second chapter. The what you call timeless, spaceless, objectless being is your reality. In that, there cannot be any part. So amsa is basically because you look at yourself. as body. There is an amsa. Paramatma is Shankha Chakra Gada Pane, and you are a body propitiating Shankha Chakra Gada Pane. So there is a part amsa. That is what the whole Visishta Dvaita is all about. Basically, Dasa Dasi Bhava is because Dasa is separate from what it propitiates. So there, because of our misunderstanding, Bhagavan says, Amsa Mamaiva Amso Jiva Loke. It's not the reality, but he explains this. Yeah.
How do they not come back? After having gone to Bhagavan, they are not separate from him at any time and were only seemingly a part of him until they realize this. The timeless part seems to be time bound for the time being. Once they realize I am Brahman, there is no Amsa. There is only one Vastu. When the ignorance is gone, the product is also gone. For the one who is liberated, there is no real Amsatva because he knows he is the whole. As long as the Prarabdha karma is being exhausted, the whole, the body, mind, sense complex, seemingly enclosed Brahman. When that falls away, there is only Brahman. Even before it falls away, once you understand that it is only an Upadhi, there is only Brahman. And that can be understood only by knowing the Vastu. It is like understanding that a crystal appears to be blue because of something blue in its vicinity. Once you know it is a crystal, even if you happen to see it appearing as blue, your knowledge of the clarity of the crystal does not get affected in any manner. Because you know it is due to Upadhi. Knowing that Atma is not an agent or an experiencer, but Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, you are not in any way affected by the limitations of the body, mind, sense complex. The concept of Upadhi explains Brahman appearing differently as though an agent Karta, as though an experiencer Bhokta, as though a Samsari. Upadhi establishes that the nature of Brahman is unsullied. If you are Ananda, you are always Ananda. Knowing that changes are due to Upadhis, you do not accept the real change in yourself at any time. The first line connects with the previous verse as an explanation of the statement, Yet Gatvana Nivartante Tattama Paramam Mama.
Yeah, that is what has been explained in this particular sentence. Yad Gatvana Nivartante Tattama Paramam Mama. How? Why is not Nivartante? Because Mamaivamso Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha. My reality is Sanatanam. So naturally I won't come back. There is no question of coming back and going back. Only when there is coming, there is going. No, only when the coming and going is not possible for a Sanatana. That is what has been explained. Yad Gatvana Nivartante Tattama Paramam. That is why he has read it along with the first line. Now the second line and next verse will be together. That's why he is now put it as a part of the next verse.
The second line is to be read with the next verse.
First verse 7, line 2 and verse
Swamiji, this Prahladan, right? Prahladan, born an Asura, gets moksha with Vishnu, Mahavishnu. So his Prarabdha karma is that he is born as an Asura, is it?
And it can be, you can call it Prarabdha karma or you can call it Avatara. He was born only on the prayers of the Bhaktas. Among the Asuras, the people, they wanted to, so Prahlada can be called Avatara. Since it is all like, what you call, Vibhuti Sarira. Basically, Vibhuti Sarira means that they are all inspirational. The life of Prahlada is inspirational. In spite of all the vagaries of life, you can still understand. Once you commit yourself to understand reality, wherever you are, whatever you are, even if you are born as an Asura, you can still get it. So you don't have to, no, the world is like this, how can I have to go with the wind and all, not necessary. So can be called. So it has got a significance that how the whole way in which he explained the understanding and how he tried to get the other Asura boys and all that, but they were not able to see in spite of they were wanted to live, they didn't want to come with him to moksha and all that. So all those things are stories, it's always there. It's an inspiration. It's all exactly. So as far as we are concerned, the understanding is what is important. Not the story is only an inspiration. That's how it is.
No, because we are reading, some people read Digvijayam, similar topic. Bhagavad Gita, similar topic. Different texts, but same subject. So,
yes. So the teacher has to, all Prahlada Saritram also can be told, Bhagavatam also can be told as a Katha or Vedanta. It has got equal Vedanta, and whereas if you look at one particular canton, 60-70 verses, they will say Vishnu is the only God. Shiva is, Bhagavatam itself says, if you take that particular canton and do the Katha Kala, people will go away with that sort of an idea. Whereas Bhagavatam has got a lot of Vedanta also. It all depends on the teacher who teaches. Can take the Vedanta part of it and teach. And even in the Katha, finally what comes is, see, Vedanta means what? Antima Nirnaya is called Vedanta. What is the well ascertained knowledge that comes out of the whole Veda is called Vedanta. So the whole Veda, 99% is Karmaganda. But the last 1% is Vedanta, Antima Nirnaya. What is the objective of Veda? Veda's objective is, it is something like, it tells, actually people think it is pravartakatvam, that is, it makes you do karma. Or some people, Vedanta means nivartakatvam. No, it only states the reality. Siddham, what is reality? Like even your computer, like I told before also, take a calculator. If you say 1 plus 2 equal to 3, it is not that it produces the result of 3. 1 is hardwired, 2 is hardwired, plus is hardwired, equal to is hardwired, 3 also is hardwired. The whole program is hardwired. So by the binary and all that. So the whole thing, what it says, the whole program is Siddha Vastu Vishayatva. The whole Veda talks about what is reality. If you think that you want to do this karma, it has got base. If you think you are like here, if you look at yourself as part of Bhagavan, Mama Vipamso Jiva Loke, it will tell, Bhagavan himself will tell and then explain. See, the whole thing is, at the end of it, if your understanding is what is the Tatparyam, what is the Antima Nirnaya of Veda, is Vedanta. Then you will understand the Vedanta means what the reality understanding. What is the whole life, what is the reality? Reality is there is only one, the being. The being alone appears as many. And the being is the common for all. We are able to navigate through the changes. We are able to relate to each other. Why? Because the being is common. Whereas everything else is very changing. Without the changeless common being, the changes cannot be even perceived. The changes are hardwired, are explained, the software is hardwired, everything is done by the changeless reality. Sat Chit Ananta, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. The being is what is manifesting, which I have told in one of the article also, like Anuro, Naniyan, Mahato, Mahiyan. That the being, when it manifests, the whole world, whole Jagat comes. Its reality is only the being. So for understanding that only, the Veda is the book. And the Antima Nirnaya, what is Veda? You have to keep on living the earlier parts, Karma Kanda, etc., etc. And later you have to pray for understanding. Okay, I have been doing all this karma rituals and all, still there is some, I am not very comfortable. Then it will say, what is the reality? Why you are not comfortable? Because you have not understood your reality. In spite of all the karma, unless you understand your reality, come home. Unless you come to the homestead, you are not going to be comfortable. However much you are in the air, like an electron is not comfortable till it comes to its natural, till the time it is excited. So all that, so if you look at, analyze life, unless you understand your reality as Desa Kala Vastu Parichinnam, that is the Brahma Vidya, you are not going to be happy in spite of all your achievements and dharmic life, whatever you call it. So that earlier the better we understand, this is how the reality, this is how I want to know. Once I understand, once I touch base, this is called touch wood. We say no touch wood, this is touch wood. Once you touch wood, everything else is meaningful in life. Till then you will be running around, can't help it.
Verse 7, line 2 and verse 8. At the time of death, the jiva withdraws to himself the subtle body, the 5 senses and the mind. Manashashtanindriyani prakritisthani karshati.
That verse is over. That is, Amevamso Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha, Manaha Shashtani
Shashtani
Indriyani
Indriyani
Prakriti
Prakritishtani
Prakritishtanti Karshati.
Karshati.
Like that. So, the sense, Jiva, Mama Ivamso Jiva Loke, how is it? Manaha Shashta Indriyani, Shashtani Indriyani
Prakritishtani
Prakritishtanti Prakriti. As a Prakriti Swabhava, these are all there, all these limbs, parent limbs. Manaha Shashtani Indriyani Prakritistani Karshati. That's what. But this is only apparent, and this is until the time you understand your reality, you will be living as a jiva. But once you understand this, once it goes away, that's the end of it. You will not be part of the cycle. That's what he says. Yeah.
So the manas is the sixth indriya. No,
Manaha Shashtani Indriyani. Shashta means what?
sixth indriya, manasungara.
Yeah. Manasa Shashtani Indriyani Prakritistani Karshati. Yeah, right.
Shariram yatamapnoti yaschapyutkramatishvarah gृहीत्वैतानि संयाति वायुर्गन्धनिवाशयात्. Ishvaraha, the one
Iva
ashayat. Ishvaraha, the one who rules the body, yat chapi, and when utkramati departs from this body, prakritisthani, those that obtain in the body, manaha shashtani indriyani, the five sense organs, with the mind as the sixth. Karshati, draws to himself, yet when shariram avapnoti, he obtains a new body. Vayuhu iva, like the wind, gandhan ashayat, would carry the fragrance from their sources, that is the flowers. Etani, these sense organs and mind, grihitva, taking, samyati, he goes. And when the one who rules the body departs, he draws to himself the five senses and the mind, the sixth, obtaining in the body. When he obtains a new body, he goes taking these, that is the sense organs and the mind, with him, just as the wind would carry the fragrance from their sources, that is the flowers.
Yeah, basically that is talking about, if you don't, suppose you don't understand, you are still, when you leave this body also, you are very much, I am the jiva, I am having all this asha, pasam and all that, when you leave like that, then the asha, pasam, the samskara, like even a fragrance, when the wind goes from one flower, one tree to another tree, the fragrance is carried by the wind to the other tree, like that, the sukshma sarira, which you cannot see, when you leave this body, the sukshma sarira, with the mind, with all your asha, pasha, will take the next birth. Because you still, you are still identified with the body. You are still not understood that Atma is reality. The level of reality has not yet been understood. Because of that, you will travel. And how you travel, that is explained here. Like even a fragrance travels, here also your Sukshma Sharira will travel with all your vasanas and namaskaras, your asa pasha, to the punya papa, to the next birth. That's what he has explained. Yeah.
The jiva has to be recognized as only seemingly an agent and experiencer, karta and bhokta, and not subject to birth and death, because the jiva is essentially Paramatma. The depth of the jiva is spoken of only with reference to a particular physical body. Even as a jiva with ignorance, he does not die until knowledge takes place. He is born again and again in different bodies. Since the status of being a jiva is a superimposition, there is no jiva to die. Only the condition of being a jiva, jivatva, which is superimposed upon the Atma, goes away.
See, even as we study this,
Yes.
we can easily make out the whole thing is only a prakriya. Nobody knows
Yes.
exactly how it happens. But we are explaining a model. Whereas the reality which we are talking about, we can understand right away here and now. Once we understand, we don't need a model. The prakriya, the upadhi, like as I was always explaining, you don't need the construct. For once you understand the Pythagoras theorem, you didn't need the construct of the square on hypotenuse, square on the sides and all that. So you don't need it. Therefore, it becomes a nuisance for you to preserve all those squares and explain to the next child and all that. Whereas you know very well the side square addition equal to hypotenuse square. The same way, once you understand your reality as Desha Kala Vastu Aparichana, the being, the whole prakriya of the Shishti, is going to be, what is Sukshma Sarira, what is Sthula Sarira, how the body is going to travel, what sort of birth I am going to take, the calculation of Punya and Papa. These are all very cumbersome, but it's only a prakriya and it keeps on changing between Upanishad to Upanishad. One person says 5 bhutas, another person says only 3 bhutas. Because they themselves say, when question is asked, the Upanishad Acharya himself says, it is only a prakriya, Baba. I am trying to only explain. Don't try to go into the detail of all that. That means what? There, the Shastra does not have Tatparya in explaining the Srishti. The Srishti is only a prakriya. Whereas reality is here and now. The idea is to understand the reality. That's what he says. Yeah. Okay.
When the jiva leaves the body, what departs is the subtle body consisting of the 5 senses and the mind, without which the senses cannot function. All these exist in the Prakriti, which here refers to the physical body. Each sense organ abides in its own place in the body, which is made up of Prakriti. It exists and operates when the jiva is alive and identified with the body. Then, at the time of death, each one leaves, and the place where it once functioned no longer functions as it did. This jiva, who is the karta and bhokta due to ignorance, though he is really of the nature of Parameshvara, now leaves the body behind and travels assuming a certain subtle form as we do in a dream. Here the word karshati means he draws to himself, and the word Ishvara means the one who rules. The word coming from the root is to rule. Here he is the one who is the ruler of this body. This part of Ishvara,
he is explaining Ishvara. Ishvara means Ishu Palane. Ish means to rule. Palane. Ishu Palane. Mara means top. Mara means Varach Pratyaya, meaning top. In every aspect of life, he governs, he is the ultimate. You cannot cross the boundaries of Ishvara. That is why he is called Ishvara. Yeah.
Here he is the one who is the ruler of this body. This part of Ishvara, in the form of Karta and Bhokta, moves away from this body at the time of death. When he does, he takes with himself all the subtle components of the 5 sense organs and the mind. When he moves to a new body, he takes them all with him. Just because we do not see it does not mean it does not happen. As we do not see air gathering molecules of scent from a flower, we do not see the jiva gathering the mind and the senses and moving away. Both are subtle and therefore not perceptible to our senses. We can only make an inference based on what we can perceive. In the case of the jiva, we can infer that he is no longer there in the body because the mind and the senses of the person who is dead are no longer functioning. When the jiva assumes another body, he enjoys the sense objects again with all the sense organs he has brought with him because he must have the means to enjoy the sense objects. How does he enjoy them? Verse 9. Assuming a new body, the jiva enjoys the sense objects like before. Shrotram chakshuspashanam cha rasanam dhyanam cha adhishtaya manaschayam vishayanupasevate. Shrotram, the ear, chakshu, the eye, spashanam cha, and the touch, rasanam, the sense of taste, granam yevacha, and the sense of smell, manaha cha, and the mind, adhishtaya, presiding over, I am this person, vishayan, the sense objects, upasevate, experiences, presiding over the ear, the eye, the senses of touch, taste and smell, and the mind, this person jiva experiences the sense objects. The subject, the conscious being, pervades the sense organs. In the situation where a snake is erroneously perceived on a rope, the snake is pervaded by the rope. There is no snake without the rope. The rope is the adhisthana, and there is no reality for the snake, which is adhyastha on the rope. Similarly here, the sense organs are pervaded by and presided over by the subject. As the eye of the eye, the ear of the ear, and so on, the adhishtatra is the one who is behind all the senses, and he is also the subject presiding over the mind. Who is he? A part of Narayana, who is jiva due to ignorance, avidya. Now, in the new form, he enjoys the sense objects exactly as he did before. The truth is, the form is nothing but Parameshwara. He is the agent and the experiencer, but this may or may not be known. Verse 10 and 11. Those who have the eye of wisdom see, but not the deluded. Utkramantam sthitam vapi bhujanam va gunanvitam vimudhananupashyanti pashyanti jnana chakshusah. Utkramantam, the one who is departing from the body, sthitam va api, or even remaining in this body, guna anvitam, endowed with gunas, bhunjanam va, on experiencing, vimudaha, the deluded, na anupashyanti, do not see, jnana chakshusaha, those who have the eye of wisdom, pashyanti, see. The deluded do not see the one who is departing from the body or even remaining in this body, experiencing or endowed with the gunas. Those who have the eye of wisdom see.
Swamiji, this one small doubt. See, in this in this reading and all we do, it is more about Vedanta, which I completely accept. It is talking about ourself, what is present in us, Atma, Jiva, all these things, which is completely understood. Which is like this part we are reading. We also have some pujas like Satyanarayana puja where the Naivedya that is offered to God was not consumed by some person, and that person actually left that house. But he had very good intentions when he did the Satyanarayana puja and went out. But what happened is, since he didn't eat the prasad, he faces some trouble. Then later they say, Satyanarayana puja anushtichu prasadam சாப்பிடல அதனால உனக்கு வந்து அது ஆறுது அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு we have some stories like that.
Yeah, that is. We cannot really link, these things. Like even your own, as I was telling you, when you leave this body and you are taking another body, your samskara and all, you are taking how much of samskara is coming in the next body, what body I am going to take, whether it is human body or Tavalaya Prakaparana, I don't know. So really it's all guesswork, basically, honestly. But it is all given, as he rightly said, it is all, God doesn't play dice. In the sense, the ultimate, the Atma is one unitary, the one uniform, the only reality in which all these things happen, so it cannot be disconnected. Since it is all happening in one reality, everything is logically connected, so the logic is explained. That is why it is called Shruti Anukula Tarka, meaning in line with in keeping with the reality of the Shruti, the Tatparya, all this Srishti is explained. So nothing is left, the sense purely it's all Shraddha. Since you have the Shraddha and the Shruti, you have the Shraddha in the way in which it explains how you will be taking another body. If you have more punya, you will go to Devaloka. If you have less punya, you will come to human body. If you have more papa, you will become Naraka. All those things, the matrix of different bodies and all are described here. We have Shraddha because we have Shraddha in the Shruti Tatparya. Since the reality we have got the Tatparya, the reality which the Shruti gives, the same Shruti is talking about the Srishti, we have the Tatparya and the Srishti. The same way, the puja and everything has been instituted by the rishis. Satyanarayana puja, Riddhi puja for that matter, is part of the Shruti and Smruti. Shruti and Smruti, Shruti based on Shruti. So we have a Shraddha in that. So we say, okay, once puja is over, the prasada is what the outcome of the puja, and you must accept prasada, whatever it may be, and like that. So if you don't do it, it's not complete. Like even without dakshina, in spite of if you do puja without dakshina also, it's not complete. So all those things are, the dakshina means you must say tripti. So you cannot bargain with the priest and give because suppose even in the heart of heart, if it is not tripti, all your pujas, by the way, all puja and all can be anything, anytime. If it doesn't come, the puja phalam is not happening as you wanted, you can always say something was, either my Shraddha was lacking, or my Samagri was lacking, or my Dakshina was lacking. So whatever, there is always, because karma means doshavat. Even though it is puja, it is doshavat, meaning because it begins and ends, right? Anything that has got a beginning and ending, it is limited. So the limited cannot give you unlimited. So the completeness is not possible even in puja. Completeness is possible only in understanding. So that is where once you have that understanding, then all this fall in place. You will not feel frustrated. You have to do puja, you want the Shraddha, you do it, period. That is why karmanyeva adhikarahate. Ma paleshu kadachana. Ma karma pala hetu bhuhu. You have no business to look at the pala. Because so many hidden factors are there. So that is precisely that is beautiful sloka. Karma yoga means ma paleshu kadachana ma karma pala hetu bhuhu. Karma nyeva adhikari. You got total freedom. Kartum shakyam akartum shakyam anyata va kartum shakyam. So your shraddha should be totally in the karma. Do whatever I need to do, keep moving. Whatever comes, accept as prasada. And you don't know also which prasada comes for which puja. As I have always told, you may give 10 rupees and give me a laddu, get a laddu. You might give 1,000 rupees and get only tulasi jalam. So that we accept, no, we don't question that. Prasada means prasada, period. Same way, you have done the puja, that's it. Shraddha, if we don't try to connect, I didn't happen, my result didn't work out because I have not taken prasada. That is only guesswork. Okay, next time around you will take prasada and go, that's all you can say. Because that scrutiny does not help. That is precisely the tatparya of that vakya. Karmanyeva adhikaraha te ma paleshu kadachana. That's how it is, yeah.
Because I used to school days used to run to Anjaneya temple, do 108 rounds and come back with Shraddha. Now when I go there, I only do 5 rounds, but the proper sense that I'm there, the proper sloka that I'm saying, understanding it, we do 5. So that's Shraddha we have. But still I see many people, Bhagavad Gita, I have to read 7 verses, I have only 1 hour, they'll go on and on.
Yeah, because they look at it as karma. See, the problem is, there again they look at it as karma, they want to do karma properly. It's okay, it's fine. But the whole tatparya, Bhagavad Gita chanting is not karma. It is understanding. And it is jnanam. It is Vedantam. But that itself people don't know. They think that the chanting is Bhagavan ka puja. So I want to do it properly. Period.
But Swamiji, on Ekadashi day, if I chant 18 verses, 18 chapters, I get a satisfaction that that I don't know how to say, that very nice
Yeah,
feeling.
definitely. Because that's why I'm telling. The karma, when you do karma without any, karma has got prayojanam. Prayojanam means what? Prayokta samaye, nirdarita samaye, utpannam. That is the satisfaction. That is the beauty of it. Karma phalam comes later. And palkuyate, as I told you, palkutaya liyate phalam. Can be plus, minus or opposite. Whereas prayojanam is not like that. That you have chanted, that prayojanam is immediate, instant. That is the beauty of karmanyeva adhikarahate. So that you keep on doing. There is nothing wrong with it. Get satisfaction that period. You feel nice. Be doing that. That is the best way to do karma. Not because if I get chant 20 times, I will get the palastuti is there. No. 3 times I chant, I will get a Mercedes car. 4 times I chant, I will get a BMW. That is all palastuti. That is all kite flying, honestly speaking. That is why we don't read palastuti. I do Vishnu Sahasranam every day. I don't read palastuti. We are not supposed to read palastuti.
That is Ididam Kirtaniyasya.
Huh?
Ididam
Ididam
Kirtaniyasya.
Kirtaniyasya.
You go straight to Arjuna Vacha.
And offer flowers and go away.
Actually, that was what was told to me when I was young. But then now I find, not now, I mean for the past 20 years, I find that everybody reading that Palastuti. So I
That's how it is. Because everybody does, we also do. That's it.
yeah. So I have also started doing it.
The problem is, whomsoever teachers, the guru, the religious guru, all those people have to explain these things. A lot of Palastutis are too much. Actually, some of them have been added also later.
Swamiji, what about the Devi Mahatmya Palastuti? There is one chapter itself. Palastuti.
I was going to.
I don't know much about it, but Devi Mahatmyam, there are experts like Swami TV. Tattva-Vidananda is an expert in Devi Mahatmyam. You ask him, he will say stories. He will say, stop it immediately. Don't do any Palastuti and Radha. All rubbish he will say.
But Swamiji, Mahatmyam Ambal herself says you have to say this and then only end it.
No, she says in Palastuti, do you know what they say? Palastuti has to be recited because it's Ambal who is saying the Pala. So that's what.
Maybe, I don't know. Honestly, I am not an expert in that. Devi Mahatmyam. This much I know. Vishnu Sahasranam I know. Sri Rudram I know. Other things I don't know much. But there are experts like Swami TV is the right person. Because he himself has written Bhashya for Devi Mahatmyam and all, because Paramacharya has told him. So he is an expert in Veda Adhyayanam and all, complete. He has done from Veda Pathasala, right from beginning. The whole thing he knows. And after having done the whole thing, he says, most of this puja punaskaram are all kite flying. He openly says that. Your reality understanding is the only purpose for which you have come in life. These are all only upaya. So because he is an expert, when he says, it will be listened to. Because he has already gone through that whole thing. He says, I am an insider. Like, I've seen it from inside, he says. So,
we'll stop with that, Swamiji.
yeah, we will stop here. So verse 10 and 11 we have to
10
start.
and 11 we have to start again.
Okay.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Sri Guru Namaha Hari Om.
Swamiji, actually, coming Saturday, then after coming home, they will feel tired.